In 16 states, the National Guard has been activated. They're being deployed as we speak, all in all around 3,600, as people across this country prepare for widespread civil unrest. I don't know who is going to win tonight, tomorrow, this week, in a month. I don't know. We don't know when the election results will come in. And we don't know if it'll be Joe Biden or Donald Trump, though everyone seems to think it'll be their guy. What I can tell you is that leftists, far leftist extremists, know that the uncertainty is the best time to actually go out and engage in civil unrest. Many organizations have been organizing protests across this country for a variety of reasons. These will provide perfect covers for the extremists to come out and engage in overt acts of violence, so much so that businesses across the country have been boarding up, and, well, the National Guard is actually being deployed right now. Although I can't tell you who is going to win, I can tell you that it is going to be violence from the left, not the right. And I know it may sound biased to say so, and of course the left would certainly believe that. But based on what we've seen, we all know it's going to be the left rioting. More importantly, BuzzFeed News has a story out right now where Trump supporters say that if Donald Trump loses, it is what it is. If Joe Biden wins, they'll go on with their lives. No matter who wins, though, the left will come out and engage in overt acts of violence, riots, unrest. And I'm sorry to have to say this, but we're planning a party tonight at my house. We're having a big show. We're going to be live streaming. We're going to be tracking the results and mostly just hanging out. Many of our past guests from the Timcast IRL podcast will be here. Unfortunately, several people have told me they can't come. I asked them why that was, and they said if they take the highways to get here, they fear that after the results come in, whatever they may be, riots will erupt and they will end up getting trapped. And I don't blame them. One thing I think we can say for certain is that there is going to be widespread far left violence, unfortunately. And I hope you have all done what you need to do to prepare. And by the time you watch this, if it's not too late, pop over to the store, grab some groceries, get that milk, get the milk, bread, and eggs if you haven't already, because we may be in for a wild ride. The National Guard is not just being activated for a day. In fact, they're going to remain for quite some time because we are about to enter. Well, let me put it this way. We've reached the top of the roller coaster. And at some point tonight, we are going to get released and it is going to get wild. Hopefully this prediction is wrong. Hopefully, for some reason, somebody wins, everyone shakes hands, we smile, and that's the end of it. I don't think anyone believes that will happen. So let's read what's happening with the National Guard so that you can be better prepared. Before we get started, head over to timcast.com/donate. If you would like to support my work, there are many ways you can give. There's a P.O. box if you want to send me some stuff. But the best thing you can do, share this video. Now, perhaps riots don't happen. Perhaps everything calms down. But as I said, most of us kind of expect it to happen. So I think it's important people know about this. Well, everybody is going to be sharing things about which poll is proving their guy is winning and who is the best to win and why. I want to make sure everybody stays safe. I want to make sure everybody goes out and goes out to cast their vote. And I want to make sure everybody sees this so they know, for one, things will be calm and safe. You can go out and you can vote today. It is not until later in the wee hours of the morning when the counts come in do you have anything to worry about. And in these cities, the National Guard is there to keep you safe. I know there's a lot of people that are really freaking out. As I mentioned, people canceling on my show, and I it's fine, I guess. You know, I understand why they would do that. But I want to make sure everybody knows the National Guard is ready and they can keep you safe. So you need to make sure you go out and vote. But if you think I'm doing a good job, if you think this information is important, please consider sharing. Don't forget to like, subscribe, hit the notification bell. Let's read the story from Military Times. National Guard Election Day update. More than 3,600 troops active in 16 states. The National Guard is gearing up to activate across the country to support the November 3rd general election in several capacities. The missions range from assisting with cyber defense, working the polls, and standing by in case of post-election civil unrest. There was a new round of newly discovered Guard activations Monday, including 1,000 troops in Massachusetts, 300 in Arizona, 300 in Alabama, and an undisclosed number in Florida, Oregon, and Illinois. The Massachusetts and Oregon troops will be on standby in case of civil unrest, and the Arizona forces will be on standby for rapid deployment anywhere in the western portion of the nation, if requested by any governor. National Guard officials in Illinois will not elaborate on the roles their newly activated troops would play. At least 3,671 Guard troops have been committed to the effort. The size of the authorized deployments ranges from 1,000 in Texas and Massachusetts to a single soldier in Wyoming. Just one guy. Hey, you got my respect, buddy. The lone Wyoming soldier. Some states are yet to determine how many troops will be activated, and many states have merely alerted selected units in anticipation of possible post-election unrest. All of the troops currently activated are on state orders and are under the control of their respective governors. The National Guard is unlikely to federalize for the election and go under Donald Trump's control, said senior Guard officials from Nebraska, Tennessee, Washington, and Wisconsin during a Wednesday afternoon press conference. Quote, "There would be no added benefit of federalizing Guard forces for the election," explained Army Major General Jeff Holmes, Tennessee's Adjutant General. "I cannot think of any scenario where we would recommend or ask for being federalized. Some of the missions, such as civil disturbance response, are well-worn territory for the Guard. But the COVID-19 pandemic has presented new challenges requiring the use of National Guard personnel to directly support the election, as have concerns about foreign actors attempting to disrupt the election through cyber attacks," explained the senior Guard officials. "Being a poll worker is something that's new to the Wisconsin National Guard," said Army Brigadier General Robin Blader, Assistant Adjutant General of the Wisconsin National Guard. "However, serving our state during times of need is one of our core missions, and that isn't new. Our service members continue to answer the call, and they continue to be willing to serve their state and nation in times of need. Here's the rundown of which states have activated the Guard and their mission. Military Times staff will update readers with more information as it becomes available." I'm just going to give you a quick list of the states that have activated their Guard. I won't read you their full missions, but Alabama, Arizona, Colorado, Delaware, Florida, Illinois. We have photos here. Kentucky, Massachusetts, New Jersey, Oregon, Pennsylvania, Tennessee, Texas, Virginia, Washington, Wisconsin, and Wyoming. So naturally, it's not all about civil unrest. Many of these are troops are being deployed throughout various neighborhoods. We can see this story from the Daily Mail. Troops roll into battlegrounds. National Guard arrive in Philadelphia and Chicago as Illinois governor asks residents to be patient with election result that could take days. The National Guard will not be deployed and simply leave later tonight. They're going to stick around, and I believe this is the smart move. And I hope that, I hope that all of this hype about violence is just that, hype. But with fears that foreign actors would influence our elections, uncertainty is the greatest asset to the extremists who seek to subvert our democracy. And I know we're a republic. I mean our democratic institutions. I always got to clarify that. Otherwise, people are like, we're not a democracy. Subvert our democratic institutions. Subvert our republic, our rule of law, our constitution. And I believe we will rely on the National Guard to make sure we maintain order. They say troops reported to Philadelphia on Monday night, arriving in armored trucks a day before Americans went to the polls to decide on who will be the next president. It comes after weeks of unrest in Philadelphia over the police shooting of a black man named Walter Wallace. Illinois Governor J.B. Pritzker asked National Guard troops in his state to go to Chicago in anticipation of riots and looting. A National Guard spokesman said the troops have not yet been given any specific directions. Obviously, people can see Illinois National Guard trucks and troops moving in. This is to be ready to respond if needed, but we have not been given any missions. We, along with most other Illinoisans and Americans, hope we are not needed, Barb Wilson, the spokesman said, okay. Across America, businesses are closing early, and some plan to stay closed for the rest of the week for fear of unrest. While the polls are open today until midnight, the number of mail-in votes this year due to COVID-19 means a result could take longer to reach. Some states like Pennsylvania are allowing votes to be counted for 3 days after the election, as long as they have been post-stamped by November 3rd. We have photos here of the troops coming in. Governor Pritzker said at a press conference on Monday that they would be on standby for any violence. We've made sure that our National Guard is simply in a state of readiness. We want to make sure that cities, counties that call upon us for help from the state of Illinois, that we have those resources available to them. Pritzker also asked residents to be patient with the election results. In Pennsylvania, votes may be counted late. We may very well not know who won the election on Wednesday, let alone Tuesday night. Chicago Mayor Lori Lightfoot said on Monday that she did not call in the troops. Some troops were seen in a Target in Philadelphia on Monday night. The store had also been boarded up to deter looters. People tweeted from the scene, calling it a sad day. Pennsylvania is a swing state in the election. The Supreme Court last week upheld a decision to allow votes there to be counted for 3 days after the election. We can see that there's real fear from everybody. Ryan Fournier says, I'm in D.C. Everything, and I mean everything, is boarded up. Shouldn't be like this. And I agree. It shouldn't. So why is it happening? My friends, it is not the right. And this is the big challenge that many of us disaffected liberals face. You know, there have been a lot of videos critical of me saying, Tim's not really a liberal. He's just saying whatever the conservatives want to hear. I think, for one, it's fair to say my perspective is very much on the right, pointed at the left. But that doesn't mean I'm actually on the right in the classical sense. I think in the modern sense, as it is today, it's very obvious that whatever left and right is, liberals and conservatives are now considered right wing, something I've said for a long time. But I am a liberal. You can call that right wing if you want, and they often have for a long time referred to people like Barack Obama as right wing. But I'm looking at the left because of what the left is doing. I have no concern about a bunch of Christian religious conservatives preaching door to door or talking about life versus choice. That is normal political discourse. I may disagree. We can talk about it. However, on the left, violent rioters have been wreaking havoc for quite some time. And this is worrisome to me. And it seems just so easy to look at the news and see the lies from the mainstream media and know that it is the left that has been engaging in these violent activities and have been escalating the absurdities and their violence for quite some time. I reached my threshold as a liberal, seeing what the left was doing, seeing the violent riots. And then I saw Donald Trump offer up peace agreements and withdraw of our troops in the Middle East. And I saw a record-breaking economy. And I thought to myself, this isn't about conservative or liberal. It's about allowing people to do insane things for insane reasons or putting our foot down and saying enough. I've seen some disaffected liberal types argue for voting for Joe Biden. They say that politics doesn't work the way you think it is. In fact, if Joe Biden wins, they will marginalize the far leftist because now they have the support of everyone on the other side. And that's just not true. In order for Joe Biden to win, he needs a coalition of progressive and far left voters. He can't just go with the moderates. He needs moderates and progressives together. And that's very difficult. And it may be one of the reasons why he ends up losing. We'll see what happens. But for me, what I'm looking at from Donald Trump makes a lot of sense. School choice makes sense. A great economy through Trump's economic policies seem to have worked. I'm not an economist, but hey, things were going well. Middle Eastern peace agreements are good. And withdrawing our troops, in my opinion, is the right move. Joe Biden offers us up some policies, for sure, he does. But some of them are quite radical. Joe Biden wants to ban gun ammo and accessory sales online outright. It's part of his plan. I recently became a gun owner because of the violence from the far left. They're trying to defund the police. And now you want me to take a position where I support someone like Joe Biden thinking he will marginalize these people? Let's operate on the assumption that voting for Joe Biden does marginalize the extremists on the left. Now that they no longer need any support, the mainstream moderate Democrats ignore them and push them out. The anti-war movement dies. If there even is one, it's mostly conservative. What happens when Joe Biden disarms the population and then we see the next wave of far left rioters? I'm sorry, that's a mistake. Joe Biden has policies that are horrifying, and I will not be supporting him. I earlier this year was not a big gun person at all. And the riots happened, and I got a taste of exactly what it's going to be like when they defund the police and when Joe Biden disarms the population. Many people say that Joe Biden doesn't want to disarm everybody. He just wants to ban assault weapons. That's not true, and you haven't read the legislation they've proposed, the Democrats. Democrats have proposed legislation that outright bans semi-automatic weapons. That's quite literally 99% of all modern weapons. It means you pull the trigger once and a bullet comes out. That's it. People seem to think semi-auto means full automatic. I have no idea. But the reason I bring this up is that I really do have fears about far left violence. From the Daily Mail. Portland Black Lives Matter protesters armed with Molotov cocktails run riot on election eve, torching Starbucks and spraying walls with all cops are and a slur, bees, graffiti. Protesters in Portland smashed the windows of the university and a Starbucks. They also threw a flammable liquid inside the cafe, but police stopped the arson. There are fears the U.S. election could spark violence, whatever the outcome. Many shops are boarded up, and the National Guard are on standby for riots. It's the far left. It's what we've feared, and we need to be ready to defend ourselves. So it's no surprise that one of the largest demographics buying guns for the first time are suburban women. Maybe that gun will give them a sense of security so they'll feel safe voting for Joe Biden. I don't know. Maybe voting for Donald Trump will give them the real sense of security. But I can tell you one thing. I would be surprised if the store owners that are boarding up their shops are thinking supporting the campaign that bailed the rioters out would be a good idea. Kamala Harris did bail them out. I'd be surprised if any one of these people said, I'm going to vote for the guy who says I shouldn't have a weapon to defend myself with. In which case, personally, I feel like the polls are wrong. I don't know. By the time you're watching this, maybe we'll know, and maybe we'll be in the midst of some kind of riot. I have no idea. But I can tell you this. From BuzzFeed News, what will Trump's diehard supporters do if he loses? They say they'll go on with their lives. Thank you, BuzzFeed News, for reporting this. Quote, if he doesn't win, he doesn't win. But I highly doubt that he will lose. I can literally bet my life that he's not going to lose. Look at this turnout. We have another quote. I don't want to think about it. Well, you might have to. If he doesn't win, we'll go back to our normal life. But the reason why we're here is that we want him to win. That's about it. They say leading up to Election Day, President Trump has stoked fear and chaos of rigged elections and suggested there's no way he can lose legitimately. He said that even a delay in results in one state could induce violence in the streets. He is correct. He's claimed a loss wouldn't even make any sense. It puts much more pressure on me running against a guy like this, Trump said in Grand Rapids just after midnight, Monday, his last rally before voting ends. You lost to somebody that was good. You lost to somebody that was good. Can you imagine the concept of losing to this guy? You better get out there and vote tomorrow. I will be so angry. I'll never come back to Michigan. I'll never come back. I'll tell Japan to bring all those plants back. Maybe people on the left don't realize that Trump is joking a lot. A lot of what Trump does very much feels like stand-up comedy. I'm not even kidding. He's not really going to go to Japan and say, bring the plants back. He's joking. And people laugh about it. During the final rallies of his re-election campaign in states across the country, most Trump supporters told BuzzFeed News they don't foresee chaos or mayhem breaking out if Trump loses. Instead, they see themselves going on with their lives. Most conservatives, we're not going to riot in the streets. Edward Valera, 38, told BuzzFeed News, if he loses, he loses. It is what it is. Well, how about this story? This is breaking right now. Florida cops repeatedly punch and elbow Biden supporter, 59, who was arrested for taunting Trump voters. They will latch onto anything to smear the right and Trump voters. But I tell you, I have been covering this stuff for a decade. I have never seen run-of-the-mill Trump supporters go around and start fights. I have seen right-wing individuals start fights, you betcha. Most of the time, the left is starting the fights, but the right does have their moments. I have never seen run-of-the-mill Trump supporters start those fights. There are probably some instances where they have, and I will tell you, the Trump supporters driving the trucks around the Biden bus I thought was dumb, but no, it wasn't terror like many on the left are claiming. Among Biden supporters and progressives, I have seen many acts of overt violence. In fact, just recently, we saw, I guess it was a woman, walk up to a vehicle that had Trump flags and pepper spray children. Children. Could you not? I'm not saying that there's never been an instance where a regular Trump supporter, went up to a rally and started a fight. But I want to make sure I'm clear here. There have been scuffles at Trump rallies when protesters show up. What I mean to say is, when you see a bunch of Trump supporters marching through the streets at these rallies, typically they're not the ones starting the fights. Sometimes they do. The left is typically the one starting the fight and showing up to Trump rallies. That's why I'm not surprised to see that we have a Biden supporter being arrested for taunting Trump voters. And we have Trump supporters saying straight up, we'll go home. We'll live our lives. To me, that's kind of sad. Well, to clarify what's sad about it. Conservatives are too willing to play by the rules. Even Republicans, and even when Republicans are cutthroat, it's still all by the rules. I mean, think about it. Trump just got nominated and confirmed Amy Coney Barrett, the third Supreme Court justice of his 4 years. And that is insane. But it's all within the rules laid out by Democrats and the system. It was Harry Reid who changed the rules, making it easier for Trump to do this. And because of them, Trump was able to. That's the Democrats' fault. The Democrats changed the rules and it hurt them in the long run. Donald Trump and the Republicans seem to be playing by the rules. Democrats seem to be changing them. Right now with the election, they're changing the rules once again. Even right now on YouTube and social media, Donald Trump and Trump supporters aren't allowed to declare victory for Trump, but they are allowed to declare victory for Joe Biden. Media has said that they may declare victory for Biden and then he will give a speech. The Biden campaign said under no circumstances will the media declare Trump the winner. It makes literally no sense. But my bigger concern, I suppose, we should get back to it, is what we can expect to see later tonight. Here's a quote. "My life, it wouldn't be much different," Patrick Hill Tarves, 20, said of a Trump loss at the Miami rally. He characterized his first MAGA event as interesting to see people of different ethnicities and backgrounds coalesce around the same cause, Donald Trump. If he lost, Tarvis said, "There's definitely some certain groups of people that would benefit and some segments that would riot and get mad. I still hope for the best here." Christiane Bear, 24, also of Florida, said when asked about the possibility of her candidate not winning. Bear said she wants Joe Biden and Kamala Harris to be successful leaders if they're elected, but she's not sure what's to come. Mara Young, who's originally from Panama but now lives in Miami, feels the same way. "Well, we'll keep fighting," Young, 46, told BuzzFeed News. "We'll keep going and we'll see what happens, but I hope that he will win." BuzzFeed News spoke to more than 36 Trump supporters across 4 swing states in the last week of re-election rallies for this article. They don't expect him to lose, even as polls indicate that outcome is entirely possible or even probable. He's not going to lose, Reza Rodriguez told BuzzFeed News in Miami, where she and thousands of supporters cheered on the president at the same Miami rally that ran well past midnight. "We are going to win 4 more years." Perhaps we will win 4 more years. But there are scary things going on. And I think we're going to see wild lawsuits. And the big concern, I suppose, is, well, stories like this. Philadelphia City Commissioner says they're investigating after video reportedly shows GOP poll watcher getting kicked out of polling place. Lawsuits, complaints, voter intimidation. We are going to have thousands of videos, thousands of tweets and posts of people claiming this, that, or otherwise has resulted in some kind of election interference. And that means this will get drawn out for quite some time. I don't know how long. But in some states, they're saying, I believe Colorado allows you to submit your ballot by November 12th. There are some issues where individuals had their signature mismatch, and they said, come on in by the 12th to figure it out. So what? They want all votes counted, even the ones that wouldn't change the result of the election? This, to me, is, well, disconcerting to say the least. We already had the AG of Pennsylvania say, when all the votes are counted, Trump will lose. And now he's in hot water. All of these moments, to me, suggest we are going to have absolute uncertainty over the next weeks, months. I have no idea. Maybe not. Maybe by the time you watch this and maybe by tonight, we have a clear victor. That would be preferable. And that's what Donald Trump has said. Democrats, on the other hand, seem to have no problem with the uncertainty. The uncertainty means the markets will tank. Now, many on the left say, who cares about the markets? This is people's retirement. This is the working class and their pension. This is them saying, I will get to comfortably relax in retirement. That's why the market matters. Uncertainty means volatility. It means the rich will be able to get richer, making wild bets, selling high and buying low, and regular people will be left out. Uncertainty means people will be rioting in the streets, and these riots may disrupt the results of the election. And then we won't know exactly what will happen or who will have won. And that, to me, is the bigger fear. Just a delayed uncertainty. Maybe it will be January. I don't know. There's a Supreme Court deadline, or maybe one of the worst scenarios is that Donald Trump does win, but the left contests it and refuses to accept the election. The courts rule in Trump's favor, and then we get 4 more years of the left saying Trump is illegitimate. For the time being, my bigger concern is the immediate safety of everyone. The National Guard is being deployed. As of right now, everything is chill and you are safe to go out and vote. And please go out and vote. In the next few days, there is a real fear that things may get violent. I don't know what YouTube expects me to say on this one because they say if you discourage people from voting or whatever. No. You can go out and vote. Make sure you please go out and vote. Today is the day. The National Guard is there. You will be safe. Please go out and vote. Because it is not enough to simply vote. We must be actively encouraging people to vote. So tell your friends, bring them with you to the polls. This is one of the most consequential elections of our lifetime, no matter who you believe in. That's the truth. I hope everything ends up safe and secure for everyone. And my thanks to the National Guard for standing ready in the event of any major unrest. I'll leave it there. Next segment's coming up at 6 p.m. over at youtube.com/TimCastNews. It is a different channel from this one, and I will see you all then.